Did you know that you could take a flight for less than the price of a standard pizza delivery? Yesterday, I hopped on a flight from Los Angeles to San Jose, California, and using the Frontier Go Wild Pass, my flight was less than $31. Let me tell you about it. So if you've ever wondered if the Frontier Go Wild Pass is worth it or if it's just a lot of hype and hidden fees, let me tell you how I scored this trip to San Jose, California for $31. So first, let's break down the pass. The Go Wild Pass is an all-you-can-fly subscription. For domestic travel, you book your seat the day before departure. When a seat is available 24 hours out, the actual airfare drops to just 1 cent. The rest of what I paid is purely airport taxes and government fees. Now, normally the catch with ultra low-cost airlines is that they kill you on the extras, charging for premium bags, seat selection, and Frontier even charges you for carry-ons. But this is exactly why I got the Frontier Mastercard. As a primary card holder, you get 2 free check bags on every single Frontier flight. Even better, making a purchase unlocks instant gold status. I think the minimum is $1,000 spent on the card within the first 30 to 90 days. That status is what completely erases the low-cost carrier bullshit. It gives you a free carry-on bag, free standard seat selection at booking, and bumps you up to Zone 1 priority boarding. And I selected my seat when I made my reservation, and it was no additional cost. And then when I went to check in for my flight, I was actually able to select the exit row for no additional cost. So it was almost like first class. When you combine the Go Wild Pass with the MasterCard, it makes flying such a discount airline even easier. Now let me tell you about my 48 hours in Silicon Valley. The flight itself was a breeze. I actually had a little bit of a hiccup when I arrived at LAX because I parked in the economy parking lot with the EV chargers, but I couldn't figure out how to work the app. And so I ended up eating up a lot of my time. So by the time I got onto the shuttle, it left me still with about an hour and a half till boarding. The only other issue is the terminal, I think it's Terminal 5, where Frontier, JetBlue, all those airlines are located, is under construction. So they were actually operating out of Terminal 1, which is fine. However, the flight itself left from the international terminal, which meant once I got to Terminal 1, I had to go through security, check in for the flight, and then take a shuttle over to the international terminal. By the time I did all of that, I was left with about 15 minutes before the doors closed. But I made it, no problem. So anyway, the flight itself was a breeze. Since it was a quick trip north, I think the trip itself was like 52. The flight itself was like 52 minutes. After touching down in San Jose, I headed straight to Cupertino, which is where I booked a room at the Courtyard Marriott. Now, if you know anything about the Bay Area, it's very, very expensive. So to stay in like downtown San Jose was a little more than I wanted to pay on this budget trip. So I stayed in Cupertino, which is maybe not even 10 minutes from sort of the San Jose city center. So let me just tell you a little bit about the Courtyard Marriott. It's super convenient. Near the Apple campus, is literally right across the street from the Apple campus if you ever, for whatever reason, need to go there. But they offer, I think with my rate, I got breakfast for 2 for both days that I'm here, even though I'm all by myself. But the room has a balcony, which is really nice. There's a pool. There's like this cool little outside fire pit area. Just a pretty simple, nice, no frills hotel. Parking is $10, which I guess is new because there was a sign when I checked in that said they're now charging for parking, which is really kind of random because it's a very It's just a parking lot. I don't know why they need an extra $10, but here we are. So once I dropped off my bags, I was starving and I was ready to eat. So I headed over to Santana Row, which is this gorgeous upscale little outdoor shopping and dining district in San Jose. If you like people watching and architecture, this is the spot for you. For lunch, I went to Dumpling Time, where I had a seaweed salad and shrimp toast. This was literally the best shrimp toast I've ever had in my life. After lunch, I spent an hour just walking around the shopping area and enjoying the sunshine and stretching my legs. Now, if you've watched my previous video on solo travel, you know that when I travel by myself, I'm usually back in the house before it gets dark. So I came back to the hotel, hung out. I ordered takeout from a Thai restaurant, so I just went and picked that up, and then I just had dinner in my room and went to bed a little bit early. So this morning, I decided to do what you do in Silicon Valley, and I headed over to the Apple Park Visitor Center. Now, the Apple campus itself, I think I'm going to put it on the screen because I don't remember, but it's a lot of acres. But it's completely secure. You can't even see it from the street. I tried to take a picture and it's literally just bushes. But you can go over to the Apple Visitor Center, which has an Apple store and a cute little cafe if you need to grab something to eat. I'm not really an Apple person. I'm an Android girly for life, but you can't help but marvel at the technological masterpiece that is the Apple campus. So after my visit over to the Apple campus, I headed to the Winchester Mystery House. Now, this is a beautiful, massive, deeply unsettling Victorian mansion built by Sarah Winchester. There are stairs that lead directly into the ceilings and doors that open into thin air. Some would have you believe that the house is haunted. I don't know. But what I do know is that it is a truly fascinating piece of architecture. You aren't allowed to film, like video film, while you're on the tour, but you can take as many pictures as you want. And so I took a bunch of still pictures to try to give you guys an idea of what this house is really like, but the pictures do not do it justice. So if you're ever in the San Jose area, I highly recommend a visit over to the Winchester House. And it's actually right across the street from Santana Row, where I had lunch yesterday. So it would be really easy to go do a tour at the house and then walk over to Santana Row for lunch and a little bit of shopping. One of the reasons that I got the Go Wild Pass was specifically for trips like this. I wanted to be able to just do a short getaway for the weekend and have the opportunity to hang out and experience a city I wouldn't normally have a reason to visit. The Frontier Go Wild Pass definitely unlocked the perfect budget-friendly weekend getaway for me. For a $31 flight, you can't beat the freedom to just be able to pick up and go. I hope you've enjoyed this video and my quick 2-day turnaround trip to San Jose, California. Let's see where the Frontier Pass takes me next time. Bye.